I'm in my 20s, and even though I was pretty safe during my early years... Hi, I'm a Shizzy. I've never broken a bone before or had a cavity. Whoa! I've done some pretty dumb stuff in my life. Some of them not my fault, by the way, but yeah, I've done, maybe will, accidentally do something dumb soon. Today, in the spirit of Halloween being around the corner, I'm going to talk about the times I could have just died in my life, but somehow I'm still here today, which I'm very grateful for. I'm in my domestic timeline and thriving, even if it seems a little boring out loud.
Wait, like die?
Yes, little guy.
Die.
One of my first situations, not the first, but one of them happened when I was very young. It was around the holiday season when the story begins, and sat in front of the television, baby Ashezi with a grin. They laughed and enjoyed with a blank stare, with nary a thought of what lurked by their hair. Little sister annoyed at her sibling distracted, she thought, let me get their attention, and enacted. She reached under the tree all glistening and bright, and picked up a ceramic house, gripping it nice and tight. She didn't aim, just threw, and it flew in a blink, and poor Ashezi was struck with no time to think. Yes, my baby sister threw a ceramic little house at my head because I was too busy watching Disney Channel on the TV. I was in so much pain. I ran to my mom and she did her best to help. It didn't help that I was wearing a white tank top that day, so it was stained with my blood. Had my sister hit me in just the right spot, my temple would have been struck that day, so I was just really lucky. After that, my mom never put those cute little houses on the ground again. And I'd also advise any parent to do the same if they have some children. As well behaved as they might be, they might do something really dumb to themselves or their siblings. Let's jump to more of a current version of me. My early 20s were a bit of a blur for me, mostly because the year I turned 20, a certain global pandemic happened that stunted literally everything. This story takes place in the summer of 2021. I have a friend of mine who's the impulsive type. If you've ever had an impulsive type of friend, you know that anything could happen. He happened to live about an hour away from me, and sometimes he would just go out of his way and drive all the way down just to pick me up and then drive back to hang out for fun or for an event. You're literally crazy. It's 3 a.m. Want Burger King water? Yes. This year, he decided he wanted to celebrate his birthday down in Florida and told me maybe like a week before. And at the time, I was in my literal worst job ever, but making bank. So I was like, sure, I'm down. Off to Florida with a ragtag of friends we went. 17-hour drives, brushes with death at 2 a.m. where we almost drove off of the mountain we were on. This one isn't the one I was thinking about, but it was crazy, so I'm adding it in. Airbnb with like the most alt people you could hang with. The vibes were just so there. One of the days we were down there, we had somehow amassed a group of 7 people in our tiny 5-person car. And at the time, one of those people, who was a Floridian, wasn't feeling good, and I felt bad because one of the drives he had to sit down on the floor and chilled on my thighs while feeling really sick. I didn't want him to have to deal with that again, and admittedly, I was forming a little summer crush on him, so like the gentleman I was, I offered to go into the trunk of the car. Going into the trunk of a car for a ride was already dangerous, but I played it off and assured everyone that it would be okay. You know, being inside a trunk isn't that bad. It was nice and warm in a cozy sort of way. I could hear the Persona music being played through the back like in a muffled way, and every so often people would ask if I was alright, and honestly, I was doing great. Now, in Florida, during the summer, everyone knows how badly it rains. Except for me, apparently. So imagine my sudden fear when I could just hear the gushing of water by my ears, when it just suddenly started to downpour out of nowhere. It's just you silly Willy.
Why did you go into a trunk of a car during a bad rainstorm? You could have died. A car could have crashed into you on these Florida streets and you could have been poof.
God, why?
And well, I made it. I wouldn't recommend doing that ever, even if you're trying to be nice and gentlemanly. Too many things could have gone wrong. Stay safe out there, young adults. I have a fear of falling. I'm okay with heights. I love going on a plane and seeing the tiny world below me. Bonus points if I'm not feeling sick from the flight turbulence. But I have a fear of falling because of something that happened to me many moons ago. Family vacations for me were rare. We were often struggling to keep up our rent even till now. But as a kid, we did have some family vacations. Our favorite spot was a water park resort 2 states away. At this resort, there were outdoor water parks, indoor water parks, mini golf, laser tag, zip lining, and of course, arcades in different parts of the resort. In the main arcade, there was this overhead rope adventure course that was new one of the years, and my mother wanted me and my silly little sister to try it. I was excited. It looked really fun to be really high up with a little harness to walk around on obstacles and ropes and stuff at that moment. The first half, really fun. I was just holding on to the harness and going over bridges suspended in the air. My parents were more preoccupied watching my sister go across similar things, so it was just me and the world. That's when it happened. I slipped and fell off the course. Of course, the harness attached to me kept me suspended so I didn't fall on top of all of the arcade machines just beneath me. I had managed to land on a support beam right under the course and just held onto my rope for dear life as I stared down at everything. My parents hadn't noticed. I felt alone in the world as I slowly shimmied to the next point of the course so I can attempt to pull myself back up. So hence, I now have a fear of falling. I don't like the feeling. Every time I just happen to fall down on my own, I'm transported back to that helpless moment and the world just suddenly gets really slow. These stories said before were of course normal stories to this topic. So this last one I'm going to share with you is probably going to be more of a serious case. This was an issue I faced and have talked about many times on my main channel, so it'd only be fair to share it here too. I could have died many times before the age of 10 because I couldn't breathe. So during my formative years, my family had moved from Puerto Rico to the US because my father had wanted to follow his younger brother here. Yes, I'm Hispanic, like a certain mouse. Hi! When we moved here, I was around 2 years old, and I'm not going to lie, we were struggling. I mean, we're always struggling, but we were struggling. At the time, my dad didn't have a job, so one of my great uncles had lent an apartment for us to live in from his complex and told my father to start paying rent when he got a job, which pretty awesome of him. Really good uncle. The apartment itself was okay. It had 2 bedrooms, and we were infested with roaches, which probably added health problems to me. Mind you, I have vivid memories of coming home with my family in Sunday best shoes and turning on the light just to see the kitchen floor just covered in roaches, and my little 2 to 3-year-old self just stomping on all of them. The problem itself happened when I went to a doctor's office and was administered a shot. That shot and my living conditions caused me to develop asthma. But not just asthma. I couldn't breathe from my nose. I was a little mouth breather. Because of this problem, at night, whenever I was asleep, my body couldn't breathe while laying down. So randomly, in my sleep, my body would sit up on its own and I would gasp for air. This happened every night for 8 years, and my parents were so scared over it. I had no idea this was happening to me. I was just blissfully asleep while my body was fighting for its actual life. This just didn't happen at home either. I would sometimes sleep over at my aunt's house, and she would be in a panic when she found out because she was just so scared of me abruptly shooting up to breathe. We didn't stay at that place long, and we moved into my childhood apartment when I was about 4 years old, and the problem was still there. Around 10 years old, my new doctor had noticed my tonsils were really big, so I underwent surgery to remove them. That single surgery cured my asthma, as well as letting me be able to breathe again, so I could smell again, and I've never been better since. Thank you for watching till the end of the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more stories from me. If you want more content from this rad, check out my main channel where I have songs, videos, and live streams. If you ever want to draw me, I do have a fan art tag over on Twitter or Blue Sky, and it's just #ArtShezzy so that I can feature your arts behind me, just like right now, these beautiful arts that I've amassed over the years. So if you want yours up on the next one, use the tag. You don't have to though, but it's there. Happy spooky season, everyone. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good wherever you are. I am out. Jana.